touchdown. And I got a voice inside that needs to be fed. Causing chaos everywhere I land.
Are two of the best historically, just not thus far.
Against these receivers. Making adjustments again. And there is Smith roaming free. Breaks a tackle. Ohio State strikes quickly.
Jordan, when you hear that music, you know what time it is. Ohio Sports Talk is back and live. Jordan, good to see you, buddy. What's going on?
Good to see you, brother, and welcome back again. A lot going on. My football Carlisle team, I'm going to give a quick shout out. Big win, big win against Milton Union on week 1. Very proud of those boys, but we got to move on. We got Miami East this week. We got to have the mentality of 0-0 and accomplish the next mission, brother. How are things on your end?
I'm doing all right. This weekend, had some time to go see a movie. I went to see the end of Oak Street. That's the dinosaur, a new kind of spin on dinosaurs. I thought it was a fun experience. Ewan McGregor, Anne Hathaway. I enjoyed the way they took that. Took a neighborhood and put it in the Jurassic period instead of recreating the dinosaurs that way. So I thought it was a fun spin. It was a more dinosaur accurate film. Feathers, things like that. But so that was fun, dude. We've got a lot going on. We had a busy week last week. Shout out to your football team getting a nice win there, a very impressive victory. Again, you guys are back at it Friday, and we'll touch on that on social medias as we go. Jordan, we also had, we have Ohio State football kicking off this weekend. We've got, we're 3 weeks away from the NFL kickoff. A lot going on. A lot in the sports world. The Reds are still, unfortunately, playing baseball. We will talk about them here in a little bit. But, Jordan, let's talk about the biggest piece of news this week, or today even for that matter. The Browns named Deshaun Watson the starting quarterback for week 1 against the Jaguars. Jordan, I will let you start because I've posted about this on social media a couple different times. I've kind of let my feelings be known a little bit already. Go ahead. Tell me what you thought when you saw the news and tell me what you think this means for the Browns going forward.
Doug, I'm going to start with the past. And, I'm a Bengals guy, but I'm an AFC North guy. I'm an Ohio guy. Regardless of the 2 times we meet a year, I'm always kind of pulling for the Cleveland Browns because if you beat up on the other teams, it looks better. You always want the people that beat you or you beat go on and do great things because that's just the way the sports world is. You look back and I think about the just the history. I think about the Jeff Garcias that came through, the times with the Trent Dilfer starting, Charlie Fry starting after he did, and so on and so forth. And I think about the success of Derek Anderson on that amazing 10-6 squad with Braylon Edwards and all that. And then I think about, Baker Mayfield's first playoff win and just how all that went down. And, the few hiccups in between. You had the Manziels, you had the DTR experiments. You had guys coming and going. But I still don't understand how we got here. I don't understand how we got here. They took a risk. And I'm not even talking about off the field crap. They took a risk. He wasn't the same person. We had the popped Achilles. They had multiple chances they could have, got rid of him when he was dancing outside of his medical boot, hanging out with his fiance. So many chances just to get rid of the guy. And we had it. Shedeur skip a few. You picked Dylan Gabriel before Shedeur Sanders, so we had more controversy there. Dylan Gabriel hasn't worked out. Should have been Shedeur's time. But when I heard the news, I was just like, man, it fits the mold. And that's not me picking on any Browns fans. This is an organization. The fan base is the most loyal fan base in fucking football, and they can't get it right. And that's all I could think about was the fan base when I heard this news today. I was like, it doesn't make sense. We have ESPN, we have Dan Orlovsky saying, don't go to any fucking games. We have Stephen A. Smith saying this is the biggest fumble of all time, that you should arrest him for being bad because he posted a quarterback rating of 8 in his last preseason game. 8. 0-8. One number. And it just doesn't make any sense. I don't understand where the organization is going. The rest of the roster is talented. The defense, the secondary, the running back crew, the wide receivers. We have some questions there because of youth, but the talent on paper is there and it is raw. It is not Deshaun Watson's time to lead any of these guys. You have them there for what, 16 to 20 million, whatever it is guaranteed this year. I'll have to run the numbers. Apologize. To back it up, if you're going to stick with him because of your $200+ million contract or whatever the guaranteed money is, he's a $200 million backup. It's Shedeur Sanders time. It should be because the pieces are there. The running game is there. The offensive line's a little retweaked. You got guys still kind of fighting for a few spots there. But this quarterback thing is ridiculous. His press conference said everything you needed to say. I don't get booed when I go to other stadiums because you're not their problem. You get booed at home. Boo him. Cleveland sports media this morning said the same shit. Boo him. It's done, man. And I'm not talking off the field shit. Yeah, big piece of shit off the field, but people can turn it around. But you haven't. You haven't turned it around because you haven't brought your gameplay. You haven't brought your team spirit. You haven't been a good locker room mate. You haven't done anything you're supposed to do as a veteran in the NFL, the not-for-long league, which has played him longer than it should. And that's going to be my rant about it, Doug. That's going to be my rant.
I think everything you said there was pretty fair and pretty honest. Jordan, when I first read the news, because look, a lot of people were reporting Deshaun Watson's going to get the job, X, Y, and Z. I thought after Saturday, the game against the Bills and the press conference after, I thought that was the final nail in the coffin, Jordan. I thought what he said was ridiculous. I thought it lacked awareness. I thought it was plain and simple a shot at the fans who, like you said, are some of the most loyal fans in football. These people live and die with Cleveland Browns, and they have had to watch Deshaun Watson play football at just a completely low level for long enough. More than, for I think he's played 19 games for the Browns.
Yeah.
I think we've stomached enough. And I thought after Saturday, I really thought that Todd Monken, who I thought was going to come in and be a difference maker and change the culture, today told me, Jordan, that he is not. He is a holdover. He is a placeholder for whoever comes next, because you don't go out and make this decision and back it up the way that he backed it up by telling us that Deshaun Watson was a more consistent quarterback, gave them a better chance to win, when Deshaun Watson is, I think, 1-6 in his last 7 starts in the NFL. There's just no actual logic. It's just lies built into on top of lies at this point. I think as a franchise, this is embarrassing. It's a new low for the franchise. I think that it will take a long time to recover from things like this. You're putting the goodwill that you've built up over decades of your fans, you're putting that to a big-time test. You're really testing people by putting Deshaun Watson out there again after everything we've seen and everything we've heard him say. And like you said, we don't even have to put in the off-the-field stuff. He's been that bad as a football player that we don't even have to really complain about what he's done off the field. And what he did off the field is much worse than what he's done on the field. The guy's a piece of garbage. It's so frustrating to the point that you almost don't know what to say. And I've ranted about it and I've raved about it all day. And I feel bad for the fan base. I feel bad around the guys who have to, shake their head and say, yeah, Deshaun's our guy, when they're in practice and they know damn well he's not giving them a chance to win. He's just not. He's not a good football player. He cannot play football at a high level anymore. I appreciate him coming back from an Achilles tear. That is very, very difficult. But that doesn't mean I don't know, man. The frustration is an all-time high with the Browns right now. I think they've cut off a lot of fans with this decision, and it's a sad day for the franchise. I really did trust Todd Monken to be a football guy, not a yes man, not any of that kind of stuff. And today's decision to me was a yes man approach, and it's very, very difficult to overlook. Yeah, will I watch every single game? Will I want the Browns to win? Yeah, but I think this has really put a damper on another season of Cleveland Browns football. I'm just tired of it, man. I'm just tired of the BS. They can't ever get it right. And you know what? And maybe Shedeur Sanders doesn't win, 7 or 8 games. Maybe they win 4 or 5 with him. I'd rather watch them win 4 or 5 games with him than I would Deshaun Watson, because I know what I've got with Deshaun Watson, and I know he's a failure at this point in his career. He's not going to ever turn the clock back. He's never going to be Deshaun Watson from the Texans. It's just not. The time has come and gone. You don't just refine that. And we're pissing away another year of guys who, Carson Schlesinger, Judkins, Delpit, Ward, Campbell. We're wasting a Jared Verse season in which we should be excited. Mason Graham's, he's young, but Malik Collins, we're wasting guys on our defensive end. This doesn't last forever, and you're wasting good football players year after year after year with this franchise, and it sucks to see. I'm sure Myles Garrett is having an absolute field day about this decision today, just laughing his head off. It's embarrassing. I think the Browns front officers are a bunch of cowards. I think Todd Monken is a yes man, and I think there is nothing positive coming out of this today. I'm embarrassed, and I wish I was a fan of another team on days like today. I really do. I'm stuck. You can see the Nick Chubb jersey behind me. I hope he enjoys his retirement, but I am embarrassed to be a Cleveland Browns fan today, and I feel ashamed, honestly. I feel ashamed. Jordan, you have any last thoughts on the Watson decision before we move on to your Cincinnati Bengals?
I doubt it. In a good world, there's time to reverse this decision, and maybe the media will squeeze it. I doubt it. I really doubt it. But there's time. There's time to make it right, and maybe the voices will be heard collectively. Like I said, whether it's small base media, one of the largest medias over at ESPN and Disney. You've got just FSN slapping you, radio slapping you, podcasts are slapping you, and the fan base is slapping you. And I feel like if this decision sticks, it sends shockwaves through the fan base to a point where you got to look at yourself and be like, do I want to buy merch this year? Do I want to spend my, in this terrible economy, not to go too far with that, but in this terrible economy, do I want to take my family to a game instead of doing something else? And those answers are no. And if you live out of the market, how does that fan base, does that affect DirecTV? Does that affect your Sunday ticket option for people that have been Cleveland fans forever that don't live in the area? A lot of things need to sit there and really be thought about from a business standpoint. If you're not going to look at it from football terms, and, maybe that'll be the tipping point. Maybe not, but Doug, it's going to be an interesting 10 days for the franchise.
All right, buddy, let's talk about your Cincinnati Bengals. Preseason, I think impressed. I think you guys have played some good football. I think the defense has given you enough reason to have some confidence. Jordan, is this the year, man? Is this the year that it gets put together? Is this the year you guys get back to a Super Bowl and maybe win the Super Bowl this year, Jordan? I think if the defense is what we've seen, and it's put together because we've seen different pieces of it work. If we can see it all as a whole unit at a high level, I think Super Bowl is probably a possibility. Jordan, tell me what your thoughts are on that.
We'll start with the defense because you made a great point there. I try to stay grounded. Because some of those pieces were still here last year. And they didn't do terrible. You know, TJ Slayton, BJ Hill were the cornerstones of the defensive tackle position last year. I know we've added. I know we have Sexy Dexy. I know we've got, you know, other pieces all around that's a lot better. We still got some unproven guys. But from a preseason and camp standpoint, this could be the year defensively that Joe Burrow has a defense that could go top 10, top 12, and carry this team to where they need to be. Because where the offense is at, it's never really a question. You know, if left tackle, if Brown can figure it out at left tackle like he did a little bit last year, and we're only talking a few plays. The man's a 350-pound man, hasn't played football in 6 months. I'm not worried that he gave up a sack doing a series after not playing football for so long. Veteran guy that's been around, just signed a contract extension. Too much emphasis was put on that play. I'm not as worried about it. Now, if I see week one that he gives up back-to-back sacks against some big-time starters, you know, I'll be singing a different tune on this show. But we did just cut Cody Ford, a longtime Bengals guy. The last 50 games he's appeared in, he started 50 out of 51 games at some point for the team. That tells me that we're looking either at a lot of reports are saying Joanne Williams might come over for a reunion. Other names are being thrown out for veterans, or the preseason game on this week, Doug, this Saturday. The 2s and 3s didn't give up any sacks. Josh Johnson was held upright for 0 sacks, and the quarterback that came after him, the same situation. So maybe we found a depth piece that we don't know about name-wise that this team's like, all right, because if we're going to cut Cody Ford, that sends shockwaves to me that we have something in place, or the franchises continue to trend and going all in, and we're going to hit the waiver wire for a veteran tackle that, you know, is kind of past their prime, but on a team that's not going anywhere. You know, we'll send that 7th round draft pick. We'll do the swap, and you know, the time will tell. I want to talk about Colby. You know, I think he's going to push Yoshavash out of the 3. I think the guy is absolute beast. He's made plays all over the preseason. From 3 to 4 different quarterbacks now. He's caught a ball in space. He's made guys miss. He's scoring touchdowns. I do think Yoshi makes the 53-man roster this year, but I don't think that Yoshi gets the playing time that he's had in previous seasons. I think he's a guy that we can rely on as wide receiver 4. Why not? He's not under contract long term. Let's get the use out of him. Get Colby Young in here. Get the playing time. I think Cincinnati's going to be great in that aspect. Running back 2 kind of scares me. Like I've reiterated over and over. I wish we would kind of made a play for a veteran outside of Samaje Perine. I think he's just on the wrong side of the numbers when it comes to running back years. Great quality human being. I think that's why he makes it overall. A guy that's, you know, done well in Denver, done well in Kansas City, you know, and places away from Cincinnati before his reunion. But that scares me. And, you know, Joe Burrow, it's all on the health, man. Can his body and legs stay upright? You know, only time will tell. But having Joe Flacco, Doug, under one season, I know he's 41, a lot of eye rolls, but the man played absolutely out of his mind for Cincinnati last year, and the defense just gave up too much. So I think I do think it's there to make an AFC championship run, Super Bowl run. We'll see. But, I mean, you look at historically, Joe Burrow's not afraid of the Bills. Joe Burrow's not afraid of Kansas City. And especially, you know, Trent McDuffie is out of the AFC. So that was, you know, Jamar Chase's kryptonite on and off for a really long time. Sure. That's not something they're facing anymore. So that you take those 2 equations, you know, we still split a series against Pittsburgh last year with one of the worst defenses in the NFL. We still split a Pitts series with Baltimore last year with one of the worst defenses in the NFL. So I look around the league. There's nobody that makes me shake in my boots like before. And I think if Joe Burrow is right and they can take this offense to the next level, And I'm talking like Tom Brady numbers. I'm talking 5,000 yards. I'm talking Drew Brees. The weapons are here to do it. And the defense is kind of here for it, Doug. So, yeah, I see an AFC championship run. I see them on top of the AFC North. And, we'll see, will Joe Burrow's body take it? And I'm interested to hear your perspective.
So, as a Cleveland Browns fan, as an Ohio guy, 2 games a year, we're somewhat rivals, but overall, I mean, we're not really crossing paths because the Browns aren't at the contenders stage like the Bengals are. So I don't really have a problem, with the Bengals. I do think the pieces are in place this year for that level of a run. Like you said, I don't see anybody in the AFC, that is. Oh, okay. There's no Tom Brady New England Patriots in the AFC right now. There's no Peyton Manning Colts. There's nobody like that out there right now. You're always going to have to face off with that Houston Texans defense and CJ Stroud. You're going to have to, Baltimore will be in the mix. The Bills will be right there as a good team. And then you have your Kansas City Chiefs, your Denver Broncos, and your Chargers. Those are your real contenders in the AFC. And the Bengals, in my opinion, if the defense is ready, if it's finally put together, if you finally went out and you got the Hall of Fame D tackle to pull all the strings together, you got the ball hawk safety and Cook. If everything kind of fits, to me, you should be playing one of those teams in the AFC Championship. The talent is there. Unless something happens, which the problem with you guys has been something is always happens. Joe Burrow gets nicked up. He misses a couple games here. You guys start to slide a little bit. Then he has to work his way back in, and it's too late. There's always some kind of hiccup there. The O-line seems like it is solidified in the coach's opinion. Yeah, you probably go out and make a depth move, but it feels like you guys have the group you want there and ready to go. Can they protect Joe Burrow? Can you give Joe Burrow 2.5 seconds every play? Because that's what Joe Burrow needs to tear people apart. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Colby Young, Yosivas, the tight end group, Chase Brown out of the backfield, be a catch and run type guy. Everything points to this being a top tier offense. Can the defense be a top 12 group? Can they be consistent enough throughout the year? I am of the mindset, Jordan, that you guys are good enough. I think you will play in the AFC Championship game this year. Do you win the AFC Championship? That's a different story. But I think the Bengals are good enough to compete for an AFC Championship this season. And I would be a little surprised, barring injury, if Joe Burrow gets hurt, if Dexter Lawrence get hurt, if Jamar Chase, one of these superstar studs get hurt, all bets are off. That changes the narrative. If you're healthy going into the playoffs, to me, this is the team to beat in the AFC. I just, you guys have never had a defense, and if everything we've seen and everything we're hearing, this is the year. So I think you guys are in a good spot. Let's hope you guys can stay healthy. Let's hope you guys lose at least one game to the Browns just to keep my morale high. But I think the Bengals have a legitimate shot this season. Any final thoughts on your boys?
We're going to drop one to Cleveland. It
Always.
is historically always. I don't know why. Denzel Ward's going to take a pick six back. It's going to piss me off. I'm going to smack a table. It happens every year. But we'll see. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Just as long as we lose the Sanders, I can accept it.
All right, Jordan, let's talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers and their
We made some moves.
The newly acquired small forward, Peyton Watson, the Watson we want to have in Cleveland. Jordan, you've had some, you've had some questions. You've had some, hey, is this guy, all that? What are your thoughts now, given it, probably about a week now to kind of settle in? What are your thoughts on the team going forward, the team's makeup, the starting unit? Give me a little bit of background here, bud.
All right. I needed the week. If we would have done this show last week, I would have probably said some dumb shit. I think that I was more it was saying goodbye to Strus for me. And the Strus is loose in Cleveland. Let's give the man his flowers. He did well. He did what we asked him to do. He battled back from a major injury, tried to get there for the playoffs, made some good plays, ran out of steam at the end. It is what it is. We got to witness some great basketball from him. But Doug, I've seen the light. I have seen the Douglas information come in. And this guy's young. Watson is young. Watson has a high ceiling. I look back every year, his points per game gets higher. His ratings from the 3-point get higher. His plus minus continues to get better. So Cleveland made it. Cleveland did it well. Maybe he can learn a lot from, working with Donnie, working with Harden. We still have good pieces that have been around in Cleveland. We still have our 2 centers, regardless of how you feel about it. They're here to at least start the year. I think another move will be made at the All-Star game. Kobe Altman has just has that way about him. It's his history. It's in his DNA. But, Doug, we do have a better roster right now than we ended the Eastern Conference Finals run. And I'll go on record saying it. I don't know if it's enough to get us back to the Eastern Conference Finals, but I will say, post the LeBron going to Philly, these are the correct moves that were made. We're younger, we're faster, we have a bigger ability to do things, and will the scoring be enough? I'm interested to hear your side of it. Will the scoring and defense be enough with these younger additions?
So I think that's kind of part of my excitement here is Peyton Watson is a two-way player. He does provide that 14 points per game, but he's also a guy who blocks a lot of shots. He's got long arms. He's got length, 6'8". That's something we haven't had at small forward. Dean Wade is 6'8", sure, but he's not 6'8", athletic, gifted. He's a good defender. He moves his feet. You can't take anything away from Dean Wade. But the problem is Dean Wade doesn't provide any offense. So in my opinion, we're adding Peyton Watson, who is a plus on offense and getting better every year. He's 23, Jordan. We're getting a 23-year-old who is still raw, has a lot of room to grow, but has plus athleticism on defense. A guy that you're going to put on other teams' best players for stretches. Where Max Strus again worked his ass off. Jordan, we can't take anything away from Max Strus in his work ethic or anything like that, but when you're getting younger and more athletic, you've got to make these type of moves. And I think it's the right move. We've gotten more athletic and we've gotten taller. So now we've got James Harden, who's 6'6", Donnie, obviously 6'3", 6'4", Peyton Watson, 6'8", Evan Mobley, 6'10", probably. Jared Allen's probably 6'10", 6'11" also. I know they're listed at 7 foot, but you know how NBA math is. But I think this also helps is you move Tyson to he's now your sixth man probably. He's probably your sixth man, right? I mean, Tyson has to.
I would say so.
And then Sam Merrill comes in that rotation, and then you've got Porter. The problem here, Jordan, I'm still worried about, and I'm not talking championship here. We're just not there. We don't have what it takes to win a championship. I think our big man depth is still a problem. Thomas Bryant in 2026 cannot be your backup center. There's got to be another move there. There's got to be another tweak to the roster. There's got to be something out there that can help this team a little bit more. To me, Jordan, if you look at the East, let me give you a list of teams. And you tell me your honest opinion. If you think they're better, you think they're better. Let me get your honest opinion on these teams. Do you think tomorrow the Cavs are better than the Knicks?
No, I can't. I can't sit here and digest the Eastern Conference Finals still, and the fact that they've had our number with different roster combinations throughout the years.
Okay, so no. Do you think we're better than the 76ers?
Yes.
You think we're better than the 76ers?
I do. I think the 76ers are going to be into
Maxey.
Embiid's made of
Brown.
Embiid's not.
Okay. All right. Okay. Then, okay. What about the Pacers fully healthy?
I think we squeak by the Pacers.
Okay, what about the Heat with
Barely.
Giannis?
I think it would take a full 7.
Okay, the Heat with Giannis.
I'm not worried about the Heat. The Heat gave up too much bench in depth.
Okay, so what about
It's
the
true.
Celtics with what about the
Heat, you can't make
Celtics
a
with
case for the Heat.
You can. What about the Celtics with a healthy Jason Tatum? No Jaylen Brown. He's obviously at the 76ers.
I think Boston still has their number.
Okay, what about Toronto?
I'd have to see how Kawhi Leonard refits with Toronto and the fact that they just gave Brandon Ingram back out. I think there's too many questions. I think
Kawhi
if
Leonard
tomorrow
doesn't play.
Cleveland
Kawhi
had to
Leonard
play
doesn't.
7-game series, we would take it.
He doesn't play with Toronto. He's not. He doesn't play for Toronto.
I thought he went back.
No, get out of here. Okay, you answered my question.
No. Where'd he go?
No, he's still a Clipper, isn't he?
No.
Did he get traded? Am I wrong? Did he actually get traded back?
Yeah, because they gave up they gave up
Oh shit!
Brandon Ingram back.
He did go back to Toronto. I'm still worried about the Pablo Torre thing of them, like his money situation with the Clippers. That I think he's still a Clipper. So do you think Toronto's better than the Cavs?
No, not right now. I had to see how.
Okay, so you think the Cavs are better than the Sixers, Toronto, and Philadelphia?
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes,
if they roll the balls out tomorrow,
are.
I think the Cavs are fighting for a 6 seed. They are a play-in team or a 6 seed, and the 6 seed feels like it's going to be very hard to obtain. I'm very surprised that you think we're still better than Philly, Toronto, and hey, man, I'm glad. I like your optimism, but it's going to be a tough year. It's going to be a very difficult year. I love the addition of Peyton Watson. I think it makes the team more fun to watch. I think it gives them another wrinkle, a young guy who kind of is in that same kind of growth, hopefully with Evan Mobley. Maybe Mobley takes another step, and maybe I am wrong. If Mobley, turns out to be all world, which we need him to be a championship quality team, and he's not been that yet, that would be great. But I think there's too many things holding this team back. James Harden is still going to be James Harden in the playoffs. We don't have a reliable player in James Harden in the playoffs. Yeah. Mitchell's only getting older. He's still got, he gets nicked up too easily in the playoffs and gets kind of hampered. And then Jared Allen had a solid playoffs himself, but still there's those disappearing acts. But hey, we'll have tons more basketball to talk about. I honestly forgot Kawhi even went to Toronto because there's been so much going on with Philly and with everybody else. But Toronto, I think, is better than the Cavs with Kawhi. They gave us everything we wanted without Kawhi. We struggled with just Scotty Barnes, Jordan. That's all they had, and we struggled with them. So if you put Kawhi out there, I think it's going to be very difficult. I think the Cavs are the 6th or 7th best team in the East right now. It's a very loaded East. But, Jordan, let's talk about another team who it's not great. It's not great, Jordan. It's not great in Cincinnati right now. And it may never be great in Cincinnati, Jordan, based on the way things are going. At what point did you throw in the towel, Jordan, on this season? Was there a game? Was there a series? Was there you think it was a few months ago? See, I up until probably last month, I was still in, but I think that national series, Jordan, where they swept the Reds, I think that was the nail in the coffin for me. I thought they buried us and threw dirt on our grave, and that was it for me. I haven't, we haven't been posting the starting lineup. We haven't been posting anything. That was the point where I was like, okay, we're done. We're done. I think it was the national sweep.
I will say it's a national sweep because before it Godfather 3'd me. I was back in. Yeah, we were riding high. I got back on the horse. We slapped it on the ass, and the horse bucked us off, and then came back down and just squashed our face in.
Yeah.
That's what happened. That's what happened. That's what always happens with the Reds. Every time I think, man, I'll peek at a score and I'll be like, maybe we're back. I'm like, no, Jordan, we're not back because the pitching gives it up, or Hunter Green goes back to the IR, or it's just on and on. Nick Lodolo gets another blister. The offense, we got 5 guys in a starting rotation with 235 or worse for batting average. It's like,
it's impressive.
Why? I don't get it. We had it really is, man. It really is. One of those guys.
Oh no. Jordan was going so strong too.
$400 million plus. But he's. But I'll give it back to you.
So Jordan, I actually had the pleasure of joining the Red Hot Reds last night and getting to talk to those guys and getting to put some reaction out there. Jordan, it's a bad baseball team. Besides 3 guys, the Reds legitimately have 3 guys who are damn good baseball players, and even those 3 guys, Jordan, or 2 of those guys, they can't even hit 285. Like that's the position the Reds are in. They don't even have anybody approaching 290 or damn near a 300 hitter. Elly De La Cruz, who is as talented as you'll ever see. Sal Stewart, leading the major leagues in RBIs. Chase Burns, one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. They've got 3 guys who you can legitimately every day go, hey, Chase Burns is pitching. I have to watch Chase Burns pitch. Sal Stewart, I got to watch Sal Stewart's at bat. Elly De La Cruz,
absolutely.
I got to kind of watch and see if he does something crazy because he's got that level of talent. But everybody else, Jordan, is damn near one of the worst baseball players at their position. It's impressive how bad these guys are. You look at the batting average, the on base percentage. You look at these key stats. The Reds are awful. They're having a good season in terms of hitting home runs, but that's about it. Suarez did not work. We kept Stevenson. He doesn't have an extension. He's walking at the end of the year. The Reds didn't do anything at the trade deadline that makes any sense. Nick Kroll is still going to have his job. His cronies are still going to have their job next year. If there's even baseball next year, Jordan, we are so stuck. And then Hunter Green, second Tommy John surgery. Not many guys recover from 2 Tommy Johns, Jordan. And he does have a team-friendly deal, but it's probably close to over for Hunter Green, unfortunately. That's just the reality of the situation. Nick Lodolo, the worst fingers in baseball history. This guy can't touch a baseball without it rubbing his fingers the wrong way. I don't understand how it's possible to not have your hands calloused enough after decades of picking up and putting it down a baseball where you can pitch 6 innings a game for a season. He's not capable. And I feel bad for the guy because it sounds like he's doing damn near everything he can, but it doesn't work. Everybody the Reds call up, besides Sal Stewart, besides Chase Burns, and besides Elly De La Cruz, they stink. They can't hit. Our farm system is dog shit, Jordan.
Yeah.
We don't have any bright spots coming up, and our front office isn't going to go out and spend the money to sign Kyle Schwarber. They're not going to spend the money to bring in any of these guys. We are so stuck in the mud, and we're lucky to have Chase Burns on a contract. We're lucky to have Sal Stewart. Hopefully they re-sign him. Ellie's probably gone in a couple years. That's the realistic story. He's probably going to go play for the Dodgers. He's probably going to go play in New York. He's probably going to go play in one of these places that give a damn about baseball and are willing to spend the money. We are stuck watching a franchise that doesn't give enough of a damn about the on the field product as they do as trying to $2 beer night to sell a couple extra beers, extra Coney night. Rick Ross coming in for a concert. They care more about that kind of shit than they do of actually putting on a product on the field that's capable of winning. We have the cheapest ownership in baseball, and it's proven year in and year out. It sucks.
Yeah,
the National
I
Series
think you hit the nail on the head, Doug.
It broke the camel's back. It broke the camel's back. And we might not even have baseball next year, Jordan. We might not even have baseball because of all these selfish prick owners and all these that doesn't want to pay players, the salary cap floor, all this X, Y, and Z. It sucks, Jordan. But our next topic is something that we can get excited about, Jordan, because like I told you earlier, Ohio State football is back. September 5th, Ball State. We've survived long enough, Jordan, for another season of Ohio State football. Jordan, how are you feeling before we get into the schedule? What are your thoughts on the Buckeyes coming into the season?
My thoughts are consistent. Big Ten championship, college football playoffs, national championship. I got to see more, but Big Ten championship, national college football playoffs. Those are my expectations right now, Doug. If the season started tomorrow, we know nothing about anything else. This is Buckeye football. This is Ryan Day. This is Matt Patricia. Big Ten championship, college football playoffs. And what do you think?
I think with the expanded playoff, if we're not in the playoffs, something majorly went wrong. Something major went wrong. Big Ten championship might be harder to get into than the college football playoff, Jordan. I mean, look, the Big Ten is an absolute bloodbath right now. Indiana, being as good as they are as a football program, is astounding. If I was going into, obviously, if I couldn't be an Ohio State football fan, I'd be hard pressed not to be an Indiana Hoosiers fan with the way Kurt Cignetti carries his program and the way he carries himself. That guy is a winning football coach, and he's a guy that you want to rally behind. And then you've got Oregon, who's just a juggernaut out west in their own right. USC's getting better every week. Michigan, they're not as good as they were a couple years ago, but they still are a rival. They're still a tough out. The Big Ten is just so damn good at the very top that it might, again, like I said, it might be harder to make the Big Ten championship than the college football playoff. I feel good about this team, Jordan. I think there's a very talented group of players. I trust Matt Patricia with the defense. I don't think there will be any real drop off there, even though they've lost a lot of good players to the NFL. The offense, Jordan, reload, re-sign. Let's get these guys the ball. Jeremiah Smith, Chris Henry Jr., Brandon Ennis, who got the block O. All these guys, talent. Running back room, Bo Jackson, Isaiah West, who all we've heard is this kid is damn good and he's ready to tote the rock. The offensive line still tinkering a little bit, still making sure we're checking all of our boxes. But I think Ball State is going to be more of a it's a warm up. Hey, is this who we want as our five guys up front? Let's make sure everybody's got their assignments. Then week 2 is when the season actually opens up. Quick shout out, Ohio Game Talk. Sup, guys? Houday, sad the Reds stink. Dude, you're telling us. You are telling us, man.
We're beyond it.
I appreciate you stopping in, man. Thank you. The Reds absolutely suck. Would love for you to keep up watching the show. But Jordan, let's get into the actual schedule. I want a win-loss for each game. Let's start with Ball State. I think we're each going to go win here. But how much do they win by?
Ball State, I'm saying, that with the new offensive coordinator, it's got to be 56 points or more. They've got to 56. Figure it out. They've got to get everybody 56. They've got it. This is a dress rehearsal for Texas. So Chris Henry's got to get his. Ennis has got to get his. Smith is going to get his, no doubt. But right now, this is getting Julian Sain in sync with every part of the offense. Receivers, running backs, tight ends, protection schemes. And he's got to play at least 3 quarters, in my opinion. You cannot let off the gas. I know it's Ball State, but this is getting him ready for Manning. Last year, Doug, we played each other in week 1. So neither quarterback had a game. Neither quarterback had a dress rehearsal outside of their own practice squads. So this has got to be everything that they want to see in increments. So different formations, in increments. Julian Sain being mobile, we got to see it. If they're going to do it, if Arthur Smith is going to do it this year, we've got to see it in increments. It's not a secret that we want, it's not a weapon we're hiding from the NCAA opponents. But no, you got to practice it right here. So I say 3 quarters, 56 points. Everybody's got to go nuts. Chris Henry's got to pop his cherry for scoring. Ennis has got to remember who he is. Smith has got to reestablish that he's the man. And running back room, unlike last year, week 1, where it didn't feature Bo Jackson against Texas. Now we've got West has re-entered the conversation as the absolute beast. Ryan Day, said fantastic words about him. We got to see it. And then we got to remind us why Bo Jackson had over 1,000 yards last year. Those 2 guys got to be in sync. So, I say 56 points, 3 quarters of the starters.
Okay, I looked up the line real quick while you were going on, and the line is 50 points. So you're not that far off. It just, I don't know if it really helps anybody to beat Ball State by 56, but I think you got to make a statement, and I think you got to put it away by halftime. And I believe this team will do that, Jordan. I think first play they're going to go deep to Chris Henry Jr. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't. But Ball State, easy win, Jordan. Then we go at Texas, and I think that's the hard part, Jordan. Last year, I wasn't too worried about Texas because it was at home. This year, this game worries me being at Texas. Texas is absolutely loaded. Arch with another year under his belt, potentially a very high draft pick in the NFL draft. Talent all over the field. What do you think, Jordan? Does Ohio State go into Texas and get the win?
Yeah, I think we go into Texas and get the win. I think you're looking at 35-21, 35-28.
Wow.
I think the Buckeyes
high-scoring game.
Do it. I think they overwhelm them. I see it's the opposite. See, last year was a defensive struggle. Offensive struggles and defenses kind of took over. This year, I think it's the opposite. I think both quarterbacks are going to ball out, and it's just who has more weapons. And right now, the Ohio State University has the better weapons on the outside. It's not by a big margin, but it is enough to once you get going. And I think that Matt Patricia's defense is going to take that late turnover in the third quarter, and we're going to go up 2 scores, and it's just going to be that way. And I think that's where Ohio State's going to get the win. It's going to put Manning in a situation where he has to come out and pass the ball 45 times plus. And I think Matt Patricia is going to throw something at him that he just hasn't seen yet. We're gonna clog the windows. The overhangs are going to come down and beat them. We're going to get that interception. It's either going to be a house call, it's going to set up a short field, and that's just where the game's going to turn around. And I think Ohio State goes in, gets a 14-point win, not taking anything from Texas. They're going to come out screaming and clawing. They've got 2 years to think about, 2 different losses. One of them Manning was a part of. So, a long history there for guys that are now juniors and seniors. They're going to want to be hungry. It's 7:30. I roll there. Ohio State couldn't get the night game at home, but we go to the South and they get whine and cry and bitch, and they got the 7:30 kickoff. So, fuck the SEC in that way. But Ohio State gets it done. Give me 35-28. Ohio State gets the turnover. Ohio State gets the score, and they just keep getting their throat.
All right, I agree. I think Ohio State does eke this one out. I'm going to go lower score. I'm going to go 24-21 Buckeyes with a win at Texas. And then we've got Kent State, Jordan. We're obviously going to win there. Then we've got versus Illinois at home. Illinois not on the level of Ohio State. No real reason for it to be a trap game. We both have us beating Illinois. Then we go at Iowa, and this is the first Big Ten test. Iowa, regardless of their offense, regardless of any of that stuff, is always going to put a good defensive unit on the field. I don't see a reason why Ohio State would lose here, Jordan, unless, again, something tragic happens. Then we've got Maryland. That's another easy win. And then this is where the schedule becomes really, really difficult, Jordan. You've got at Indiana. Jordan, I think that Ohio State does lose a game in the Big Ten. I think they do. I think they lose. I think they lose one of the Big Ten games. I think it's probably to be Indiana this year. I think Indiana has our number a little bit in that after the Big Ten championship. I think Ohio State loses to Indiana. What are your thoughts?
I don't think you're fully wrong, and that's where that's me taking my fan goggles off and putting my analyst goggles on. I think that Indiana, Will Howard just had something that just got us over the hump. I don't know if Julian Sain has it yet when it comes to Indiana and that, how they're going to come up with a scheme, how they're going to play Ohio State. I think Indiana's coaching staff can trade punches with Ohio State plan, but I don't know, man. It's going to come down to who has the ball last. I got today. I think for Indiana gets upset, but not by much, and that's going to be the Dogs coming out of the Big Ten. Whoever wins that game is probably going to travel to Indiana and play and win the Big Ten championship.
Okay. So we both go lost there. So we've got Ohio State at 6-1 right here. Then we go at South USC 2 weeks later. Jordan, I think USC is probably about a year or two away from really competing with the Indiana, with the Oregon, with the Ohio States. I think we're able to beat them at USC this year to move to 7-1. What are your thoughts?
I'll sum it up short. Yeah, I think we're going to be just fine. Halloween game, I think we all get the treat. USC is going to come out with a couple of tricks. They're at home. I think Julian Sain weathers the storm, that we get it together at halftime and get a 14-point win against USC. Again, I think USC is going to put on a show and, make a statement on where they're at in the Big Ten by, going toe-to-toe, giving us the Rocky Balboa fight. But in the end, this is part one where Apollo Creed takes the win and Ohio State moves on for Trick-or-Treat night.
And then we've got Oregon the following week at home. It feels like after the national champion or after the playoff game, it feels like Oregon has a lot to prove to themselves and prove to the country when it comes to playing against Ohio State. I still think Oregon is little brother in this situation. I think we beat Oregon at home to move to 8-1. What are your thoughts?
Easily, I think we beat Oregon. I don't think we were 100% ready. I mean, it was a 1-point loss or a 2-point loss before the playoffs, and it's still a high-scoring game for teams in the 30s. Then the playoffs came around. Ryan Day showed that he can actually put together a game plan and moved on. I don't think that changes. I think Oregon, again, kind of does what USC does. They're going to give us a scare. They're going to give us a little West Coast. But after that first quarter, Ohio State at home, I think we're going to cruise along to a 21-point victory.
Jesus Christ. That seems like that's underestimating Oregon a little bit. Then we've got Northwestern at home. Northwestern at home's a win. Nebraska, I've heard some Huskers fans talk about they actually have a real quarterback now. It doesn't matter. That's an easy win. And then we've got the game, Jordan, to close out the year. Any hiccups this year? Any hiccups in the game?
The game feels like a trap, as it usually is for one squad or the other. Being at home, I think Ohio State wins it, and I'll go into more detail when we actually get closer to November. But it's all records out. It doesn't matter what your record is when you go into this, and Michigan's going to have something to prove because we went to their home, finally broke the 3-year drought. Wrote the script Ohio in the snow, got everybody the right way. But I don't see a hiccup, but I do see a fight.
Okay, I think we beat them up pretty bad this year. Honestly, I think they're going to have a down year. I'm thinking maybe 17, 18 or 17 to 21 point win. I think we beat up on them, and I think I think at home, I think we're going to put even more emphasis on it. And I think it's an easy win for the Buckeyes. I've got you and I both have Ohio State going 11-1 this year. The only loss being at Indiana. And more than likely, that will put the rematch in Indianapolis between the Buckeyes and Indiana. That'll be a hell of a football game. Both teams obviously moving on to the playoffs. I do believe Texas is a playoff team, and I do believe Oregon's also a playoff team. So at least 3 playoff teams on the schedule this year. Very impressive schedule. One of the hardest schedules I can remember as a Buckeyes fan, Jordan. I know we've played Notre Dame. I know we've played a couple good teams to start the year in the past, but this is something different, man. This Big Ten is just it's turned into a juggernaut. I mean, the SEC at the top is still very, very good, but this is the best conference in football right now. And I think they've earned the title of that with 3 straight national championships. And you've got 3 of the best teams in the conference, and they're all going to play each other. And I really can't wait. This is going to be a hell of a season. Saturday cannot get here soon enough. I cannot wait to watch the game. I'm beyond pumped. Jordan, just, man, I'm ready. I know you're ready. I'm ready. What else you got here, man? We've had a hell of a show, 56 minutes. We've had 12 consistent viewers. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. We've had a couple comments in here from our friend over there at Ohio Game Talks. Appreciate you stopping in, man. That means a lot to us. Jordan, anything else before we get out of here tonight?
No, I think we recapped a couple of weeks worth of absolute stuff, man. It's been great. The tech side held up. It's been great getting back in the room with you, talking some sports, getting my mind off some things. I've really enjoyed it. A lot to look forward to. And, I can't wait to hop on here next week, everything permitting, talk about the Buckeyes, talk about the future of our franchises, and really, really continue to press forward, Doug. Welcome back home. It's been an absolute pleasure. And, I look forward to the next one.
All right, guys, this has been Ohio Sports Talk. I'm your host, Doug. That's the coach, Jordan Maxon. We will be back live Monday next week, 9 o'clock. See you then. Thank you, guys. Hit that subscribe button. Jordan, have a good interview tomorrow. Watch out for that. The Maxon Report live again tomorrow night. But, yeah, we'll see you guys. Thank you.